The first two chapters of the Bible begin at the beginning. Chapter 1 gives a concise overview of the progress of creation, climaxing in the creation of man. Chapter 2 takes a zoom lens look at day 6. There the details emerge of how God's image bearers were created, man from the dust of the ground, and woman from his rib. The stage is set, the characters are in place, the drama can begin. The perfect environment into which man was placed is now shattered by the entrance of sin. Satan, posing as the subtle serpent, challenges God's only prohibition on man's use of the garden. Disobedience follows as the first family eats from the forbidden tree and is expelled from the garden. The result of their sin spread quickly as humankind and the whole creation fall under the penalty of death. Cain becomes the first murderer, and the downward spiral continues from Adam to Noah, paving the way for God's sweeping judgment upon the wickedness of the world. In the course of its rebellion, humanity becomes so sinful that God prepares to execute the death sentence on the entire race. In grace, God directs Noah, a just man who walks with God, to build a great ship in order to escape the coming judgment. Noah obeys God, and while the flood waters purge the earth, the ark preserves human and animal life for a fresh start. After a safe landing on Mount Ararat, God gives new directions and makes new commitment to Noah and his descendants. I will remember my covenant. In chapter 9, verse 15. Chapters 10 and 11 explain the origin of nations after the flood. Beginning with Noah and his 3 sons, God repopulates the world. But since the root of sin has not been removed from individuals' hearts, the fruit of sin soon becomes apparent once again in proud, disobedient actions. God deals with human failure by scrambling the languages, causing humanity to disperse over the face of the earth, as God had originally commanded. After describing generations of self-serving humans in general, the narrative shifts to one man, in particular Abram, from whom God will build a new nation. Chapters 12 through 14 describe God's call of Abram to leave his home and travel to a distant but unspecified new land. Abram faces many potential distractions along the way: the death of his father in Haran, a severe famine, the worldly pursuits of his nephew Lot. But God is looking for a man of faith who will trust him completely to keep his promises. For Abram and his descendants, those promises include receiving a great name, becoming a great nation, and experiencing great blessing in the face of impossible odds. Today's reading describes the Abrahamic covenant as it was given, confirmed, and symbolized. God's promises to Abraham are given in great detail, confirmed with a unilateral treaty, repeated and established by the sign of circumcision. But as the year passed with no evidence of fulfillment, Abraham acts in foolish impatience. The result is a son, Ishmael, who will forever cause the heartbreak of his father, constantly reminding Abraham of the price of his unbelief.